Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show, hour number 3. On the phone right now. Radio personality and host of Turner Classic Movies on TCM. Please welcome Ben Mankiewicz. What's up, Ben?
Artie, how are you? I don't think I like being introduced as a radio personality. That's fake.
I'm sorry. That's what it says here. Should I change that?
Yeah, I know. You just hear radio personality, you think, that guy doesn't have a real job.
Oh, stop it. How should I put it? Radio artist, or should I put it...
There we go. That's good. Radio artist.
Just artist.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, here's the question for a guy who knows movies and watches movies intently and might know about the Oscar race. Will the greatest thing in the world ever happen, and will Andrew Dice Clay get nominated for an Academy Award this year?
I tell you, he was good, wasn't he?
I didn't see it. I'm dying to see it.
Oh, man.
But people are saying he's good. I mean, and you need a quick Oscar nomination to rejuvenate a career. You go to Woody Allen. They're saying Kate Blanchett. I mean, usually gets broads Oscars. Kate Blanchett, yes. They say they're expecting that, but they say, yeah, Dice Clay. Is he that good?
I mean, I don't know that he's not in it enough. So my hunch is he won't, but he'll work from it. And like Bobby Cannavale is great too. Louis C.K., man, it's like it turns out Woody Allen knows what he's doing.
Louis C.K. is Louis good in what he does in it?
Sorry, say again.
Is Louis good in what he does in it?
He's really good, and he's not funny.
Dan just answered the question for me. I asked you, and Dan answered. Yes. He's not. Is this one of those Woody Allen dark movies? Is it not a comedy, really?
It's not really a comedy, but it's not really dark. I don't know. I loved it. I mean, I thought it was really great. There are obviously really funny moments in it, but it's about sort of mental illness, but and Kate Blanchett is like so loathsome. She doesn't do a kind thing in the entire movie, yet somehow you're rooting for her the entire time. I think it was really impressive.
Yeah, so basically you're looking at impressive performances by Louis C.K. and Dice Clay. Who's in it more, Louis or Dice?
Like Louis has like 2 scenes. I guess Dice is in a couple more scenes, and he has one really, really nice scene. But Bobby Cannavale is sort of in the same. He's sort of like
he's a great actor.
He's in it a lot more. He's great.
He's a great actor. Now,
he's a great actor.
What is the plot of this? So you hear that Kate Blanchett is supposed to be like Madoff's wife, Ruth Madoff, in it, or why is that so? What does she play? What's the story?
Yeah, she's like a socialite she was an adopted kid, and Sally Hawkins, who's great too. She plays her sister. They're both adopted, and like Sally Hawkins went one way and has kind of a blue collar life, married to Andrew Dice Clay, and then Blanchett is married to Alec Baldwin, who's this Bernie Madoff type character, except he's a player. It turns out he's been sleeping with everybody.
Right.
And she sort of breaks down slowly, realizing that he betrayed her, and then he betrayed everybody else and took all these people's money, including Sally Hawkins and Dice's money.
Wow.
And then it's sort of her going out to San Francisco, where she's got to live with her sister and try and sort of rebuild her life.
I tell you, Woody Allen does have a dark view on how deep human beings can go into depravity. You know, I mean, he really can write dark, awful people. You know, he really just, with every negative characteristic you think a human being could have, Woody Allen is great at writing that. And you could tell it's his view of humanity, I think, mostly.
Yeah, he does it in it right. And here, like, when it's not funny, it's just, I mean, and again, there's some funny moments in it, but I think the audience was, like, laughing. I saw it at the Academy, and I think the audience was laughing, like, at places where maybe they weren't supposed to. I don't mean that negative.
Right.
It was still good. It was, but also, like, one thing that Woody Allen did in this movie, like, Alec Baldwin's, I don't want to give too much away, but there's one, it's not that important. But Baldwin's character, he... At one point, when he ultimately leaves her, he's been cheating with a lot of people, but he leaves her because he has an affair with somebody else's au pair, and she's a teenager.
Right.
And I just thought, well, that's, I think, courageous for Woody Allen to write that. I did. I thought it was good.
Well, I mean, he don't care. I mean,
it's like... Right. He doesn't care, and you got to respect that.
He officially has that thing. It's like that. He goes, look, I'm an artist, and what the heart wants, what the heart wants, and I'm not going to explain myself any further. I'm a big Woody Allen fan. I wish I had the strength to be more on the moral high ground and say I would never see another movie, because what he did, and look, I mean, he writes how deep into depravity human beings can get, and he went there. What he did to to Mia Farrow is despicable. And there's
and there's the scene when like Kate Blanchett realizes that he's going off with her, and Blanchett like has this very real and hard to watch but brilliant breakdown, and you think, well, I imagine that's something that Mia would have done at that time. Yeah.
I mean, she said, Mia Farrow, I mean, I love just with this and the Roman Polanski thing, like, you know, in Hollywood it gets washed over because there's forever liberal and they forgive artists for everything. But I love to really get into the detail of the Woody Allen and Roman Polanski scandals and really just say it out loud for people because I don't think they do that enough. You know, Mia Farrow saved this poor girl from certain death probably at an early age, takes her out of a third world country where she was starving to death, probably going to be the victim of some disease, and she takes her from that and introduces her to a wonderful, well-to-do life in Manhattan, where she's introduced to culture. She gets to go to NYU and live the life of a Manhattan socialite. You know, second row at Knick games, right behind Tom Brokaw, you know, stuff like that. And Woody Allen comes into Mia Farrow's life. He knows how important these kids are to her, treats them like they are her own, which would make this girl his stepdaughter in every way. And she's probably in a lot of ways the only father figure she ever had because they were together for a long time. And he just falls in love with her and is attracted to her, seduces her, takes naked pictures of her, starts a torrid affair, and Mia Farrow finds naked pictures of the girl in Woody Allen's apartment. What do you do? That's as awful as you could do to a human being. For Mia Farrow not to jump out a window shows incredible strength, which she could have easily done. You know, so I mean, on paper, he's the devil. That's awful. You know.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when you put it like that.
Well, that's what I mean. When you tell the truth. Roman Polanski drugged and sodomized a 13-year-old girl in Jack Nicholson's jacuzzi in Los Angeles under the guise of getting her into show business. A brilliant director did what any scumbag director on the strip would have done, just trying to get laid. You know,
no, I mean, you're right. And the great thing about the Polanski case, and I don't really agree with you about that. I don't think, I mean, you know, I say this as a liberal. I think I'm as repulsed by that as anybody. I think there's this sort of Hollywood elitism regarding art.
Right.
It is just incredibly, I don't know, it seems just so out of touch with the rest of the world. But I guess I understand it on one level. The Polanski thing is that then they made this deal with him. And then they backed out on the deal. But you're right. So we end up talking about that, and you forget. I mean, the girl's forgiven him, but she was 13.
Yeah. The only question is, what if it was your daughter? Like, I mean, and it sounds like a cliche, but of course, I would go hit him with a pipe in the head. Forget about it.
All those cliches that parents use about what if it was your own kid. I had a daughter 4 months ago, my first kid. And yeah, I hit him with a pipe.
Yeah, I mean, much less go see him in a movie, but or direct a movie he directed. But you know, again, and the Woody Allen movie that comes out right after is Bullets Over Broadway, right after the Mia Farrow scandal, or a year or two after. And Bullets Over Broadway's main theme, if you remember, is an artist struggling with, like, look, I'm an artist. I do what I do. You know, Rob Reiner's character, who plays just a repulsive jerk-off in it, and who seduces young women based on the fact that he knows a lot about Shakespeare, and you know, and says, you know, the thing is, I'm an artist. I do what I do, and you got to let me off the hook because the world needs my art. And you know, it's disgusting, but yeah, I love Woody Allen. I love his work. I love his work. You know,
it's tough to reconcile, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm with you anyway. But that said, Blue Jasmine is great.
It is right. I'm sure. Is it up there with Match Point?
Yeah, it was good. I'm glad to hear you say that. I like Match Point. Are you being facetious?
No, I said I love it. Yeah, I love Match Point.
It was great.
It's Match Point's his best in the last 15 years. I think.
I would say it's definitely it's definitely like top 3 of the last 15 years.
Okay, good. Well, I'm dying to see it then. I love
much better than Midnight in Paris.
You did? Okay. Yeah, I thought Midnight in Paris was overrated.
Yeah,
I did a little bit. I enjoed it. I saw my girl. We had a fun time.
Enough with that.
Yeah. Match Point, the way he uses irony in Match Point with that ring at the end. Yeah, you don't see it coming. You know, it's so brilliant. But yeah. So all right, now I can't wait to see it because the other thing about Woody Allen movies is I have a certain group of friends, comics that are funny people that I know, not necessarily comedians. So we like to make My uncle being one of them. We like to make a pilgrimage to see the Woody Allen movie every year, so I'm glad it's good, and I can't wait to check it out. What about this summer with movies? Do you think how many more superhero movies can we take, man? It's like
I can't take any, man. I didn't read comics, so growing up, I read the box scores, and
it's enough for. I mean, you know what's going to happen? How many more times can we get a different nerd who grows up in Hollywood and now gives us his version of the Superman story? Yeah, we get it.
And the story part of Superman this year, Man of Steel, I was into like the first hour. I'm like, all right, this is a little interesting. And then as soon as they start fighting, and the same thing happens, and they throw each other through buildings, and they go through like 6 walls, and they skid, and they dig up all the concrete, and it happens again and again and again and again. And I don't care. I don't care. Yeah. I don't think anybody cares.
I agree.
But I mean, I know I say that, and it's going to make $1 billion. But I mean, I don't see anyone. I don't know how people love that this often.
You feel ripped off because you know they're going to make sequel after sequel, and the Spider-Man thing, we turned over a new actor on that way too quickly. And Tobey Maguire, we saw the movie and we saw it again within a couple of years, I think. But John might co-host loves comic books.
I like all these movies.
Did you see Man of Steel?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I want to see it. I did. I want to see it.
And I liked all the Spider-Man movies too. I have a
Garfield
low
ones?
bar. I have a low bar. As far as entertainment goes,
that's not true.
movies.
That's high-level entertainment. It's impressive work. These are artists on a different level, special effects artists that you appreciate what they do.
Movies, I like them all, regardless. I don't know why.
Story,
and I was a comic book connoisseur.
Right.
I read them. We have a guy on the show, Mike Lawrence, who still is heavy into comic books, and he abhors every comic book movie that comes out because he doesn't think
the last
film
couple.
does the comic justice.
The last couple he doesn't like.
Right.
Couple.
Well, Ben, what do you think about the Wolverine? Did you like that one? Because I heard terrible things about the Wolverine.
I saw it late. I liked it. I liked it fine.
Yeah.
I guess I just like it didn't. I thought it wasn't. It stayed small. Like it didn't solve a big world problem, which like he didn't have to save the world, and I appreciated that.
Yeah.
That it was a smaller story, that it didn't feel so big, and as soon as it feels that big, it can take me out of it.
Okay.
I still look. The one to me, there still hasn't been one better than, for me, Iron Man, which I thought was great.
What about Iron Man 3?
The first Iron Man you're talking, right?
The first Iron Man I thought was really good.
Because you get the combination of a great actor, a great story, and great special effects, and Jeff Bridges as the villain. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I just that did it for me. That I really got into. Who's good in Man of Steel? Who really is good in Man of Steel was Costner.
Yeah.
Is he? I didn't even realize he's in it. I haven't seen it. I got to check it out. Oh, he plays Mr. Kal-El or whatever.
The mortal dad.
Right.
Yeah.
Who's the immortal dad?
The immortal dad
Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is
Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe for Brando. Can't accept that.
Hey, Ben, how about Elysium? I loved Sector 9, and I can't wait to see Elysium. District 9, yeah, that's what I meant.
And that guy, Sherrilton Copley, is in it. I was traveling last week. I was back east on doing a little vacation, so I didn't see it, but I sat in on the review today, and the critics I do the show with, they were basically unimpressed with it. And they called, and they said, we just shot it today, and they said Jodie Foster, again, I didn't see it, but they said Jodie Foster, they said it was the worst performance of her career. And they all liked it.
Really?
No.
Jodie Foster usually doesn't take a hit like that from critics at all. Oh, man.
I know, and so I was surprised to hear it. And and it's Matt Damon's second straight movie. It's not going to do that well. It's not doing that well on Rotten Tomatoes. And it's his second straight sort of heavy-handed. And I share his politics, but like that movie Promised Land felt like an after-school special, and like not even a really good after-school special. An after-school special, you're sort of bummed out that you rushed home to watch. And I don't think this one was. It doesn't sound like this one was that good either. So he should go back to. Well, anyway, he's a great actor, and you see Beyond the Candelabra, you know he's great.
Just in the last day or two, we lost an actress who did a couple of great films, couple of great performances, Karen Black. And a lot of younger people don't know who she is, but she was in a couple of classic movies, Easy Rider being one of them. But the best thing she's ever done, and one of my favorite Jack Nicholson movies that isn't talked about enough is Five Easy Pieces.
Yep.
Such a great movie. My father, when I got old enough, made me watch the scene where he orders the sandwich. When Nicholson orders the sandwich, I want you to hold it between your effing knees.
And it's funny. Literally, the script I was working on for Turner Classic Movies before I came on with you guys was Family Plot.
Oh yeah,
Hitchcock's last movie.
Really?
With Karen Black, and I got to be honest, I didn't. This is how I didn't. I missed that she died. So.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Yeah, she just died. Yeah, 74 years old, and says she appeared in more than 100 movies. My God. But she was, the big break was Easy Rider, and then like the next year, Five Easy Pieces. Nashville, that's pretty good. Just having those three, you get away with being a classic actress.
I bet. She was in. I think she was in. She was like in the first airport, first or second airport.
Yeah, she's in one of those, and
she was in like a ton of movies in the 1970s. She might have been in 30 movies in the 70s, I would guess.
She was one of those. She was one of those classic 1970s sexy actresses. You know, I guess she got. It says here she was nominated for an Oscar and a Golden Globe for Five Easy Pieces.
Yeah, that was certainly a worthy role. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
Okay, here we go. This will get us into this next question, which I wanted to ask you about. She's also in the 1975 or 4 version of. By the way, you're right. She's in Airport, 1975, with Charlton Heston. But she's also in the original from the 70s, Great Gatsby. I remember her being one of the shining lights in that. This newest Great Gatsby that came out, where do you put that up with the first one and just in general?
The thing about the second one, if what you care about is how something looks, then you can talk about, God, the Great Gatsby looked great and weren't their costumes amazing, but I don't care, and I don't think most guys care.
Exactly.
And I got bored. I got super bored, and it just was like it felt like he was showing off.
Yeah. Okay.
But that said, and I certainly wasn't alone in that. But that's what this one felt like to me. It's totally different than the 74 film. So right. They're worth. I would say it's worth seeing just because it's what Baz Luhrmann does is it's so incredibly beautiful that if that's but it's like 2.5 hours too. It's too.
That's a long commitment. It's
a long time unless you can't just shoot a guy at the end. In a 2.5 hour movie.
No, I know. It's. Again, there's got to be something else to it. Was it odd hearing modern hip hop music in there? Was that disconcerting?
This is one of my clear shortcomings as either as a critic or just a fan. I really think of myself more as a movie fan who talks about them, but I miss music all the time. So I swear I got halfway into that movie, and I'm like, this music seems ill-placed. But I missed the whole thing, and then afterwards it turns out that was the whole point. No, I think that it was interesting. That may have helped with the pacing a little, because he was so involved in how it looked and how everybody was dressed and how their hair was, and so But look, the performances are good. Leo's good. I think he's always good. We talked about Tobey Maguire. He's great.
Right. All right, and Tobey Maguire's in that too. That's right. Yeah. You talk about interesting and films and roles you don't see anymore in movies. I'm reading some of Karen Black's biography here, and about her role in Easy Rider. Black often portrayed women who were quirky, troubled, and threatened. Her breakthrough role was a prostitute who takes LSD with Dennis Hopper and Peter Fonda in 1969's Easy Rider. Right there, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Definitely. So what do you hear about what's coming up for Christmas and stuff in the fall?
This is again maybe a short. I don't pay a lot of attention because it ends up massively affecting how I feel about things.
Right.
I have this opportunity. I get to see stuff early, and I love going in not knowing. Really small movie out this weekend. It's Lake. Do you know Lake Bell at all? But
Lake Bell.
She's and a writer and an actress, and she's got a movie called In a World, and it's about the voiceover artist on trailers.
The trailer, In a World. Yeah,
that's right, because that's what Don LaFontaine used to say.
Right.
In a World.
In a world full of wonder.
Her father's a voiceover artist, and she's trying to break in. It's really funny.
It's a documentary or a film?
No, it's just
Really?
It feels it's a totally scripted, dramatic film, and it's funny and amusing, and I really liked it. And,
I like it's true. The quick turnaround on the second line, like in a world full of wonder, in a land full of danger.
Well, that's all in there. And these guys and the guys who do this in her version of In a World, they think that they're who makes the movie.
Yeah, right.
Who wrote it? The director, the stars. That doesn't matter. It's about the voice on the trailer. Anyway, I really liked it. I think everybody should go see it.
You know, to clarify that, there was one guy basically, this LaFontaine guy, who did all of those for a long time, right?
Yeah, there was as we were talking about today, I learned that there were like 3 or 4 other guys, but he was the unquestioned. He was the man.
He was the Mel Blanc of it.
He was the Mel Blanc of it.
Yeah.
And, but he was, and there's some good stuff of him on YouTube. And he died just a few years ago. Yeah. But he had that great voice. He had those great pipes right up until the end.
Unbelievable. All right, Ben, please come back anytime, man. And I appreciate you coming on this time.
Love talking to you, Artie. Thanks to both of you.
Ben Mankiewicz, knowing stuff about the movies, and Karen Black. You know who Karen Black is, John?
Yeah.
You know who she is?
Yeah.
Very,
From
very
Easy
sexy.
Rider.
Full lips.
I mean,
Very real sexy.
I didn't see that other one, 5 Easy Pieces.
Check it out. I think you'll love it. It's a young Nicholson.
What year? Like
69.
Oh.
Or 70. I think that's 70. It's the year after Easy Rider, so it's young Nicholson when he's in his early 30s and he breaks in. And there's a classic scene in the diner where he asks for a turkey sandwich and gets into an argument with the waitress. That's so hilarious. Classic Nicholson. You know what I'm talking about, right, Dan?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. That's,
Karen Black, Chicago girl.
She is, right?
Yep, Northwestern.
Of course, that's right, Northwestern. The theater program there. Very, 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 very happy. She was also in not just The Great Gatsby, but that's what I was looking at. The Great Gatsby and a couple other things. Oh no, she was in Charlton Heston, the first airport. That first, like, those airport things were like, disaster movies.
Yeah.
She was in that. She was the hot, I guess, stewardess in that. But in any event, all right, we're gonna take a break, and we come back. I guess Dave Juskow's here. We're talking movies with Juskow. He talks everything.
And colonoscopies.
Yeah, and I think he lived in the same building that chick fell off the balcony in. Is that true?
Yeah.
Chick just fell off a balcony here in New York about 4 days ago. It was a big story in the paper. A horrible story. She on a date with a guy. They go back to her place. She says, relax, make a drink. She goes out to have a cigarette on the terrace. He hears her scream. The terrace from the 19th floor just broke, and she slid down and died. 19th floor is dead. And this is what the guy's like, he's there yelling. He couldn't believe it. And he had to look down and see that and call 911. But the word is Juskow lived in that building and was turned down by the chick about 53 times. So we'll see what happens. Wow. We'll be right back on the Artie Lange Show after these words.